Facebook don't kick us out. Well, hello, my resilience family. Welcome this lovely, lovely 8th day of January 2023, guys. Happy blessed new year again. I'm
Happy
probably going to say it the
birthday.
whole month. And oh my God, it is the 8th day. It is new beginnings. And my, we have an awesome guest for you today. I am just so,
Yes,
I'm excited. I am.
I
I
am
am
too.
excited.
And I want to say welcome, welcome. You guys made it through the first week of January. And while
Yeah.
we are here in the presence of celebration, let's give us some finger snaps and some blessings and claps to the actress, entrepreneur,
Yeah.
poetess, who has also an online boutique, which we'll be discussing as well, and YouTube inspiration, as well as a motivational speaker, Miss Divine Valentin.
Drum rolls. Yay. Okay, I see she having some little technical difficulty, but it's okay. So
It's all
again,
right.
just want to welcome you. We are going to be talking, of course, about being resilient, guys. We are going to be talking about endurance, getting through, strength, courage, and power. Because those are the things that I'm hearing for this year for 2023. I'm hearing collaboration, um, just coming together, just a wholeness to get through 2023, because I don't think it's going to be all smooth sailing for us all this year yet, or shall I say, but God, we got this.
Yes, we need to basically, as I'm piggybacking off of Miss Dawn. So yes, we do need to be in preparation. We do need to be more in tuned, self-examination, or some people would say shadow work of ourselves, because we cannot pour ourselves or what we're capable or what we're filled with if our glass is not even half. It has to be full. It has
Yeah.
to overflow. And with that, hey, I'm right along with you all. Right along
Yeah.
with you all.
And here she is, Divine. Hello, hello, Queen. Uh-oh, we can't hear you, Divine. Are you muted? Nope, still can't hear you. I see your lips moving, girl, but we can't hear you. And to my podcast
Um,
world, we are streaming live on Facebook today.
that we are.
And
And
we
while she's in preparation and getting ready, most of what we're going to discuss today is part of who we are, resilient, and resilienters. Do we have you in, Miss Divine?
cannot hear
Still, I
you.
can't hear you.
Hmm.
Hi. Is your earplugs plugged in? They're plugged in, then yeah, it's going to take the audio.
Yeah, as she prepping. So as I say, guys, it's been the first 8 days of January. I hope we have been starting to live more intentional for this year, meaning do what you say and say what you're gonna do. Seriously, it's
Because,
all about action this year. Nope, still
yeah,
can't hear you, Queen.
Okay, what about now?
Yes,
yes,
You
yay!
know
yes.
what's funny is that stuff like that always happens when you
And
Right.
it's all right.
you
It's all
know and
right.
listen, I wanted to chime in when you first introduced the show about New Year's and coming into the first week, and and being able to get through. One of the things that I never did before was have any sort of like New Year's resolutions. I've never
Mm,
done it because I never stuck with it. After a
yeah.
while I
Mhm.
was like, I'm over it. I'm not. But this time it wasn't even so much a it wasn't even so much a resolution. Maybe it was more like a New Year's resolution. It was more like, okay, no. And that means that I have to do this work in order to come out
Mm.
of this so
Yeah.
I don't have to revisit this. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to write it down and I'm going to be more
Yes.
intentional and I'm going to be on purpose. And
Yes.
that's what I'm going to do. Like that was life changing. You know what I mean? It was like
Yes.
sometimes New Year's resolutions are so temporary and it's like, no, this
Very,
is life changing. You know what I mean?
very,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
very.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is exactly what we discussed as church when I got the revelation that um it was based off Genesis, and then it was like 19 and 26. Basically, we need to stop being like Lot's wife, looking back, and we need to look forward,
Yeah, for
because the
sure.
more we continue to look back, we're holding ourselves in bondage.
Yeah.
So we need to be released, and that is what we are blessing and throwing shouts out, claps, and celebration to you,
Oh,
because you are one of the beacons of this life. You're
thank you.
one of the ones that have been inspiring and motivation and giving us things that we need. God works through all of us, giving us the same revelation, just in different aspects and
For
different
sure.
ways. And
For
I'm
sure.
so blessed. And again, I'm welcoming and everybody to help snatch together, because we have this beautiful woman on the line to let us be in her perspective and gain some perspective as well.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. When I started writing, I wasn't writing for anyone. And I don't think even till today I write for anyone. I write for myself. But
Mm.
it's funny that when I write for myself, I write for somebody else. And I had to learn that um, I'm more of a channel for the creator, as we all are, and so that's how I use my work. Just use me. What do you need me to write about? What do you need me to say? Or I'll come to the creator and I'll just say, I need something and I need you to bring it through, because I know that your work is the best work. So what do you need me to? And so that's just how I work, and I'm thankful that I have an audience that really receives, what's being given or what's being put out there.
Yes.
Yes,
Sure.
ma'am.
So tell me real fast
Yeah.
how you became to actually start writing. Like what brought you to this
Hmm.
world? How did you notice this gift God gave you?
So I didn't start writing until I moved here from New York with my mother. My mother had left my father. And looking back at it, even throughout my years, I realized how parenthood, womanhood, motherhood is powerful.
Yes.
And what's interesting is that it doesn't matter what you're in, like you're still a woman.
Mhm.
And so even if you're a wife, like you're still a woman, there are things you need. There are things that
Yes.
that that keep you alive. And so when I was leaving New York, my mother was packing up. My father was in at work, and she said, I'm leaving with or without you.
Wow.
Anybody else probably would have been like, wow, what a mom, right? But
How,
she
how old
just
were you?
I was 12. I
Wow.
was 12. And now I have three older brothers. I'm the youngest and the only girl. And my
Mm.
brothers are a lot older than me. My youngest brother, older above me, is 8 years. So it's only been me. So
Right.
when she said it, I was like, oh, you ain't leaving me here. You know what I mean? My father's at work. I'm not staying here and him come home and you're not here. I'm leaving with you because I didn't want her to be by herself.
Mhm.
So I came to Arizona, but again, as I'm living my own life and having my own children and being married and divorced and being in relationships and what have you, I look back at what my mother said, and I've been in that place
Mm.
of I'm
Mm.
leaving with or without you. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And I don't just mean talking with my children. I mean, period. Like I'm done.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I get it. And that was a very pivotal. So, you asked me about writing. A lot of my writing comes from that journey. And I didn't start writing till I was in Arizona in a place that I didn't know and understand. I was like an alien here. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Being
Yeah.
from New York, I'm a whole nother, they don't know what I am. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Are
Yeah.
you black? Are you white? Are you Spanish? Are you black? Are you mixed? It's like
Mhm.
I'm never
Mhm.
asked those questions in New York,
Right.
because we're all not the
Yeah.
same, but we all know each other already.
Yeah. Yeah.
How I
Hmm.
talk and how, I use my hands everything was different. And so my writing really came from needing a friend. I used my
Mm.
writing as that was my friend. It didn't judge me. I asked all my questions. I gave all my confessions. I gave my secrets. So writing really saved me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
My mom at one point, she asked me, because I had very low self-esteem as a teenager. I left my father in New York, the man that protected me, the man
Mhm.
that, I don't go nowhere without him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
His treasure, I
Mhm.
was his jewel. So now I'm in Arizona with my mother, and I'm an open target. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my mom worked 2 3 jobs. It was just me and
Mhm.
her. I'm a latchkey kid.
Yeah.
I'm not knowing myself. I'm not
Mhm.
protected anymore. And so that's my writing just stems from a lot of that. Now, knowing that I had impact, that people were listening, I didn't know that until
Wow.
I was done putting it on paper. And my spirit, in all honesty, was like, okay, we're done talking to the paper now. We need to, like, say this out loud.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I was very shy as a kid, so I didn't think of myself on stage, even
Right.
though I was singing doo-wop music at 9 years old with my father, because he had a group in New York. So I was on stage young, but to do poetry would have never. It was really spirit, because it was like,
Wow.
okay, we're done. We're done writing it. It's done. We need to start. You need to open your mouth, and you need to, yeah, say it out loud. So I told myself, I said, whether I pass out, you know what I mean? As nervous
Yeah.
as I was like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And
Yeah.
after my first time, I was like, where's the next stage?
Wow.
What do we need to do now? And there are times where I'm reading my work and bugging out that I wrote it, because
Yeah.
I'll read it and I'll go, wow, and I'll learn something from
Mhm.
my own writing. Like,
Mm.
oh snap! Like, I'll have my own
Mhm.
aha moment from my writing. Like,
Ah,
Mhm.
that's
and
lovely.
it's in those moments where I'm reminded that, sister, this doesn't this is this you got help with this. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You got help with
Mhm.
this. And so I just kept doing it. Yeah. A lot of beautiful things have come out of just deciding that that's what I was just going to do
Wow.
regardless. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
That's amazing. Like, wow.
So, with the ability that you have, the creativity that you carry, basically, aka gift, how have you noticed it helped others?
I will never forget this. I was hosting an open mic, and I recited a piece about my son. I have 4 boys. My oldest is 23. I have twins that are 15, and the baby's 7. So at the
Wow.
time, I only had my oldest son. And I remember reciting this piece about him, like giving birth to his name is Elohim, which means God in Hebrew.
Yeah.
So I wrote this piece, and afterwards this lady came up to me and she was crying. And she said, I just wanted to thank you for saying what I felt. She was like, because I have a son too. She goes, but I don't write like that. She was like, I don't write. She was like, but you said what I feel.
Mm.
And I promise you, it was that moment that I was like, oh my God, people are like really listening and they're digesting. And I made a decision that if you come in my circle, if you're in my space, you're not leaving the way you came.
Mm.
You're not leaving
Mhm.
the way you came. No way. No way. I can't. the words are too powerful to just be given out like that. You know what I mean? And to not be thinking before you speak. So my writing became more mindful. Like I wasn't just writing. I was like, okay, where's this coming from? What am I writing about? Who do I want to reach? What feeling do I want to get? And all of it is my life. I mean, I don't write about anything I don't know about, but in that I'm very honest about my writing. So that was the first time that I realized that it affected people,
Wow.
and that it's been bananas. Yeah,
Wow.
it's been bananas. Yeah.
Mm. Goodness gracious. Can you just give us a little bit of insight of who you are and
hmm
whatnot, and just tell the audience who you are?
So I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. Me and my mother moved out here in '89.
Wow.
I'm very very open, so I'm just gonna give it to you. Um, I'm just gonna give it to you. When I moved here to Phoenix, everything just changed for me. So it was probably about 16 years old, and I came home to my mom. School wasn't my thing. I wasn't really a school kid, and I told her, I said, I don't want to go back to school. And she was like, well, I can't force you, because if I force you, you're going to cut school. So you got to go to work, because I was old enough to work. So I went to work, and that didn't work. And so my sister-in-law called me from New York, and she was like, we have a GED program out here. Come out here and get your GED. And so I told my mom, I didn't want to be a problem for her. So I was like, if I don't pass, I'm going to stay in New York. If I pass, I'll come back. So I'm in New York, and my instructor, and then my point to this is that there's a genius in all of us. And
Mm,
the sad part is that we're taught to be conformed to
mm,
certain situations or environments, and it really suppresses the beauty that we really carry, like all of us do, right? So
Mm,
I'm at this program, and my instructor was one of the professors at the college where the program was. He was a philosophy professor, and I
mm.
loved philosophy. I did a lot of reading outside of school. And
Nice.
so I'm asking him, like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm grading my classes that I teach here. And I said, I want to read it. So I started reading it, and I got real into it. And he was like, I'm going to give you the homework for it. So I'm doing the homework. I'm like 17, 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I came back, and he's like, you do better than the students that I teach, and it was just one of those moments again where it's like, I'm not like other people. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's okay that you don't fit in a little bit. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it's
Mm-hmm.
good that you read these things, and you're interested in things that other people are not interested in. I love
Yes.
psychology, philosophy. I like to read about people's stories. Um,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
an avid reader. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm not a big writer. People who write stories, I give big time shout outs to all the creators out there, because I ain't got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I'm working on a book now, and I'm pulling my hair out, but I ain't got it. But, I do photography as well.
mm,
And I dive into the things that make me feel good.
mm,
The poetry, photography, jewelry. I make jewelry. I make soaps now. I make my own shirts, and I use these things to feed my
Nice.
kids, to pay my bills, you know
No,
what I'm
that's
saying?
right. Yes.
Because I know that I don't live a traditional life, and I've always
Right.
worked for myself. So,
I hear you.
yeah.
Oh, that's
ooh.
music to my ears.
Okay, so yeah, I was like, okay.
Right.
We'll be
Yeah.
talking to you later. And
Totally can relate.
so that explains how you became an entrepreneur, because of the talents that you have, and you don't care for, you're not telling people or discouraging them not to work a 9 to 5, because you got to do what you got to do.
You got to
But
do what
what
you got to
for
do.
you is for you, and that's the entrepreneurship within you.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
oh man, that's awesome. So with all the people that surround you and how you've evolved, what would you say is different
Mm.
of you beginning versus you now?
I have I have allowed less people in my ear.
Yes. Yes.
I have allowed
Yes.
less people. I do not in no not everybody is invited in my personal space.
Mhm.
And I don't share a lot of what God has given me to a lot of people.
Mhm.
Because I
Mhm.
know that one, the plan is bigger, the vision is bigger.
Amen.
I'm also, I can definitely bear witness that I'm fully provided for and have been provided for in spaces that I never thought I would get out of, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that was
Right.
without anybody's help. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It was way
Right.
bigger than anybody. Nobody's gonna save me like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's been big for me because being young and naive and not really knowing, you want everybody's okay. You want
Right.
everybody's you think I should do it? You know, I got this
Right.
idea and I can feel it, taste it and touch it, but what do you think? You know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Mhm.
I've stopped
Mhm.
doing that.
That's
And now I
good.
just do it.
Ha! Yeah, that just spoke
Mm,
to my soul. I'm
mm,
I'm
trying to tell you,
glad.
always
mm.
looking for that outside approval. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. I can move. I can inch up here. I could do this. What this person said, okay, so it should be a baby bye. I
But one
man,
of the things
yeah.
I learned that really, really moved me to make that type of decision was this. When you're given a desire, it's already done.
Yes.
It's given to you to implement it. It's given to you because you have everything you it
Yes.
needs to come to life. If you didn't, it wouldn't have been given to you. So that's
Yes.
why it's like, why would I ask someone else if I should when it's already been given? So
Yes.
that's where I am. And
Yes.
okay, so
Yes.
let's say it doesn't work out. Okay, what else you got? You know what I'm saying? I'm still here. I'm still alive. I still have choices and options. Thank God. So what else you got? You
Yes.
know? So
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't
Yes.
know.
Yes.
You could
Yes.
call it
Yes.
bravery. You could call it courage. You could call it not having fear. I have fear all the time. I'm nervous all the time. I'm scared all the time. But the big
Mhm.
picture is do it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? And it took me a minute to get to that point. Seriously. Like we haven't been living in our God ordained power and that authority that we know we have. And if we do, my God, eyes haven't seen and ears ain't heard. I'm just
Right.
saying,
Right.
my,
Right.
And that's
yes.
all because, like she stated, and this is a conversation I had last night as well, we're too
Mhm.
busy being letting other people to condition us and put us in a place where they
Mm,
think and sees is a fitting, when in actuality, we are a puzzle piece of God that universally, with
Yeah.
His approval, we can fit anywhere.
Anywhere.
Keyword, with His approval.
Yeah,
But
for
if you
sure.
don't have His approval, stop trying to be somewhere where you don't fit.
Exactly.
yes.
It's
Yes.
there no resistance. That's the other part of
None.
my list of things is no resistance. I'm not fighting no
Wow.
more. I'm not
Yes.
fighting no more. I don't
Yes.
have it. I don't have it. I thought I had it. I ain't got it. So I'm not
That
fighting no
part.
more.
That part.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not
And
built for it.
knowing
Mm-mm.
and knowing that everything you need is in you.
It's
You know
right
what I'm saying?
there.
That he gave it to you. You just
It's
gotta
right where you
find
are.
it. You
Yep.
gotta find it. You gotta do your due diligence, do your work, like you're saying, do your reading. It's coming. It,
Well,
it
here's
will
the and
come.
then here's the other
Resilient.
part. The other part of it too is to learn how to be quiet.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo! Touchdown.
When to know to be quiet and when to speak up. Yes,
When
Lord.
you know you have to know that if
Woo!
you know that
Wow.
if you already know that you're being guided, right? You already know that. Okay, so the guide, whatever, the guide, right, is
Yes.
not going to guide you here and not guide you here and not
Right.
guide you here. You're
Right. Right.
guided no matter where you are, but you run in your mouth too far over here.
Come
You
on
can't
now.
hear what's
Preach.
being instructed. And over here, you know what I
Yes.
mean? So it's like,
Yes.
you
Yes.
gotta be quiet. Just be quiet. And we're
Yes.
scared because the
Yes.
power is so big. It's
Yes.
so earth shaking and it's
Yes.
so able to shift that we're scared because we don't want to lose somebody or we don't want to lose a situation or even a child or whatever it is. And it's like,
Come on.
yo, do it anyway. Like,
Yes.
I got you. I got you. I didn't drop you over here, so why
Come
am I
on now.
drop you over here?
And that's a lot of things that people are ignorant or blissfully ignorant to, of how resilient they could truly be,
Yes.
how they
Yes.
could truly resiliently be, and to
Yes.
be not just like you said. A lot of the things that we go through are not necessarily for us, but it
Right.
embeds in us to change us, to transform us before the eyes of those who are having questions, who are thirsting in hunger.
Yeah.
Just got
Mhm.
to pay
Mhm.
attention. And like
No,
you
for
said,
real.
you've got to be quiet,
You got to
because
be
if you do
quiet.
all this static, how are you going
Right.
to hear God? How are you going to
Right.
know and hear you?
Yes. Yes.
Every day should be a better day. Every day you should
Yeah.
have learned more
Yes.
than yesterday. You should have took
Yes.
your notes. You should have some notes. You should have some notes. You're 46 years old. Where's your pad and pen? Where are your notes? Where your lessons at?
Yes.
Because earlier when you mentioned holding on to the past, I've been thinking
Yes.
about that because I'm working on just telling my story, and it's been hard going back there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But then
Woo.
at the same time, I
Mhm.
learned some things back there.
That's good.
So the story is necessary, but
Mhm.
what's bigger than the story is the lesson. And
Yes.
so that's what's keeping me writing. That's what's keeping me going, is that none of it happened for no reason.
Right.
And I don't want to keep telling the story, but at the
Mhm.
same time, there's a lesson in it. So the story is necessary. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And not for
Mhm.
nothing, but all of this really comes down to is self awareness.
Come
Like
on
you
now.
can't go through things and not pick up a little bit more of yourself, a little bit more growth. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
it's all about self-awareness. Like, how you gonna know what you just came through if you didn't pull nothing from it? You
Come
know,
on
you're
now.
just gonna revisit it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I
Mhm.
just don't want to
Mhm.
repeat no more cycles. I don't want to repeat
Yes.
no more.
Yes. Want to move forward. Come on.
Okay,
Forward with
okay.
power.
Because to be stagnant, it would drive you up the
Yeah,
and I'm speaking from experience because I
yeah,
was there at one time. But to be stagnant, you guys, is not a place you want to be.
it
To
really
be
is
in a
Mm.
not.
place where it's dark, you don't see no
Yeah,
light, you
right,
don't know if you're stepping on something, and
right.
you don't include God. Oh yeah, no, thank
Well,
you.
here's the other thing too, is that a made up mind is a dangerous one.
Mm.
Say
Mm.
it
You need to
again.
make up your mind. You need
Say
to
it again.
decide. You can't stay there. Can't
And
stay
there.
there. Can't stay
Right.
there. You got to
Right.
decide. What are you doing? What are you
Come on
doing?
now.
Ooh.
What are you doing? You know?
Mm,
Yes, yes,
mm,
yes,
mm.
yes, 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 yes. Oh my God, this is so good, and it's amazing how things connect, how the spirit just connect
For
it
sure.
all, because this is the same thing that's been coming to me. That's been what I've been working on.
Mm,
Self-evaluation.
yeah, for sure.
Stepping back, looking, re-examination. Like you saying, you gotta write it down. And
Yeah.
I was one of those like, nah, no, I don't. It's up here. I'm good. Oh, to help that manifest, you
Right.
have to write it down.
One of the things that I teach, I have a workshop called "Don't Hold Your Tongue."
Oh,
When I was younger, my mother used to tell me not to hold my tongue. She said, "You hold your tongue, you die early." She was like, "Don't hold your tongue. Be respectful. Say
Mm,
what you feel. Always say what you feel. Don't ever be afraid." So I started
mm,
this workshop. It's a performance, or not performance work. It's like a life skills workshop. Anyway,
mm,
in the workshop, it's a lot about breathing. So a lot of the paying attention to your breath, right? Because we go throughout the day and we're really not paying attention to it. And I learned a lot about breathing through yoga and breathing through the pain.
mm,
I teach my kids the same thing. Breathe through the pain. Breathe through the pain. The pain is going to be there, but if you focus on the breathing, you won't focus on the pain. Whatever you
mm.
focus on gets bigger. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? You know what I
yes,
mean? And
yes,
so
yes,
when you're aware of what it is that you're going through, if you can understand that you're not this.
yes. Hmm. Hmm.
Oh
Hmm.
Lord, have
That's
mercy. When
good.
you know that you are not this,
That is good.
you really grow stronger in more ways than one, because you realize how much you can really handle,
That
because
is
it's
good.
not going to be given to you if you can't handle, right? So here's the
Mhm.
deal. When I had my boys, it's a funny story. I was mad at God. Okay. I was like, why you give me all these boys? I
Oh
was
my
like,
God, that was the opposite. I'm sorry.
okay, I said,
What is
why'd you give me
that?
all these boys? I said, you know, I don't like to go outside. You know, I don't like to get dirty. You know, I don't play games. I was like, I gotta chase them. I was like, why'd you give me all these boys? And I really fought with it for a while. And one day when I got quiet and I just heard, I'm not gonna give you nothing you can't handle. And
Wow.
I have my challenges with my boys, but it's nothing I can't handle. I
Mm,
learn more from my boys. It's amazing. Like I'm thankful every day for them because they really teach me something. And I just remember having that. But I bring that up because we're so mad at God for so many things.
mm,
And it's
mhm.
like, you know, you got this, right? Okay, because you wouldn't be there if you did. Okay, I'm just letting you, just reminding you of that. Like, we have to be
Right.
reminders for ourselves, right? We got to be our
Yeah.
own trainers, our own
Yes,
cheerleaders, and the whole nine,
yes.
and reminders to each other. And that's, that's what I feel like this is all about. Like, if we don't tell
Wow.
our story, we don't give permission to someone else to tell their story.
That
You
part,
know what I'm
that part.
saying? So,
Wow, wow. I love it. And when you're talking about the breathing exercises,
yeah,
um, I do have a 9 to 5 still, well, because it's part of my passion. I manage a
sure.
group home. I'm one of the managers for a group home for kids that are in state custody. They're broken. They're so
Yeah,
broken, so
yeah,
hurt, trauma. And that's one of the things I do with them. I teach them this deep breathing. I teach them the mindfulness, you know, just to get that one to help
yeah,
them focus on the positive and not all the trauma, the hurt
for
they've been
sure.
through, or who's not there, you
For
know.
sure.
So when you said that workshop, I said, wow,
Yeah.
it
Well,
helped.
the interesting thing too is when you do give your time, when you give yourself that time to breathe, you slowing the mind down. You're giving
Yes,
yourself that time to figure something out. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like we get so caught up in life, we think there are no solutions. I'll never get out of this. It'll
hmm,
always be like
hmm,
this. I'm supposed
hmm,
to live like this. I'm never
hmm,
supposed to have love. I'm never supposed to give love. I'm just a
right,
bad kid or a
yeah,
bad woman or a bad man or whatever. And you really, really have all of your answers. You know what I mean? And when you just give yourself a minute,
yeah,
Yes, mom. Yes, mom.
you can really come up with something that could help. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? It could be a word, it could be a thing, it could be, God comes through whatever. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You
yeah,
Yep.
just got to be open, and I feel like the
mhm.
breathing opens you up to receive that. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
yes,
So,
yes, yes, yes,
I
yes, yes,
kid you
yes.
not, and that is so true. And like both of you, I work with low income families, and so there's a lot of trauma and misunderstanding, lack of communication, and not knowing their purpose. So I do things from a different stretch of it, like you. They had me to come down one day in the classroom, and the kids was just running amok, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And so I was like, hey, everybody, hey, let's sit down and let's do the Indian style, crisscross applesauce. And they're like four, five,
mhm.
three. And I said, let's take it in. And they're like, okay. So they're breathing in. I said, now let it out. I said, all the colors that's in your body, let it out. I said, what colors do you see? I'm asking questions,
Yeah,
giving them imagination, throwing out there. Let's breathe in positive, release all the negative.
yeah.
Let's breathe in this. No matter what mommy and daddy said this morning, and all of a sudden the teacher goes, I'm gonna have to do this every morning because they're
Every
actually
day.
enjoying this. I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, this is giving them to stabilize
Yeah.
where
Ah,
they are.
When I
Oh,
when I realized that I was when I realized that I was a single mother, okay, let's just put that out there. I
mhm,
am a single mom, okay? I'm raising boys, okay? It's not easy.
mm,
mhm.
When you're
Not
invested in your
mhm,
children,
mhm,
emotionally, spiritually, physically, when you're
mhm,
invested, you know that it is not easy, right?
mhm,
One of the biggest reasons why I taught my boys about the breathing technique was because it's expected of them to be physical when they are emotional, right?
mm,
mhm,
So
mhm,
break
mhm.
something, hurt somebody, and whatever.
mhm,
I wanted to give them another option. Like,
That's
you
good.
have
Mm.
another option.
Good.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good.
You do
That's
not,
good.
that does not have to be your first reaction. You know what I'm saying? And they do it to this day. They do it to this day. And they think. That's another thing about breathing, is it may just makes you think a little bit,
Yes.
and it
Hmm.
was it was heavy because I knew that one day they were going to be in this world without me, and they had to know self-control.
That's good.
When you
That
get
is
them
so
into the
good.
breathing, it teaches them self-control.
That is
So
so good.
it's powerful for everybody.
That's so good. That's so
And you're
good.
breaking generational
For
curses,
sure.
the
For sure.
typical black men stereotype of the norm. You're
For sure.
breaking all those barriers.
For
So
sure.
that's why God was like, hey, you can
Yeah,
do
right.
this. You got this. And you're
I was
doing
like, I'm
that.
done. We're done.
You're
We're not.
doing that.
Four is enough. Okay.
I hear you. That is too fun. That is crazy. So real fast,
Yeah,
you dabble in the podcast world too.
I did. I started a podcast called Rice and Honey. And okay, so let me tell you about this. Okay, so I started writing, I started performing, I started hosting open mics, I started opening up for famous people, and then I wanted to create my own one woman show.
Mm,
And I've been on
Mm,
stage before. I've been in a full length feature film. I've been in short films. I've been on stage acting, plays, and things like that. But I wanted to do my own show. But I
mm,
want my show to be about my story. Now,
mhm.
God is good. I have all my immediate family, meaning no one's passed away. I
Wow.
have all my brothers,
Wow.
my mother, my
Wow,
you're
that's
father. Okay.
blessed.
bless them.
So, with that being said, there's a lot of my story that my family doesn't know about. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
there's a lot of hesitation when it comes to completing it and making it happen. But before any of that, I'm still very, very shy.
Mm,
So I used the podcast platform to get me out of my comfort zone in telling my story.
mm,
So the
Mm,
podcast is about mental health. So I,
nice.
I have challenges with anxiety. So I
Hmm.
talk about my techniques and the things I use to get through my days and my performing and everything. I talk about my trials and tribulations with my children. I talk about relationships, and so I'm very, it's my stories, and I created the platform to get out of my own comfort zone. But believe it or not, I get more feedback from single fathers.
Wow. Now that is
mm,
actually a good audience.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Right. And I
it
had no
is.
idea. I guess my thought was women, but a lot of men, and maybe because I'm telling the daughter's story, right?
Mm,
And
Yes.
a lot of the men are raising girls, like they're
mm,
raising their daughters.
yes.
And so a
Hmm.
lot of my story, I'm coming from a daughter's perspective. Like,
Wow.
so it was amazing
Wow.
to hear a lot of feedback from men. But yeah, so my podcast is available on all the podcast platforms and everything. I haven't
Awesome.
done a podcast in a while, more so because I like to do my shows when I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to just do a show to do a
You
show. You know what I mean?
sound like us.
Especially, yeah, you know what I mean? And so I could
Sure,
go
like the tell of
months
the
without a
tongue.
show, you know what I'm saying? But but when I do it, like I just did two of them last month. So they just need to be edited and uploaded. But I talk about detaching, um, letting go. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be up
Mhm.
soon, I hope. But yeah, yeah, the podcast, it was a good platform to start. Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, so tell our audience, everyone, how they can find you. Um,
So, I'm a lot more. I'm on Instagram. So my Instagram is BX5 Girl. So BX for the Bronx, and then five, and then girl. So BX5 Girl on Instagram. And then from Instagram, you can kind of see my TikTok page and my Facebook page,
awesome.
but I never remember any of those other ones. But BX5 Girl is also my TikTok if you want to follow that. But I do a lot of my performing, a lot of sharing like that on my Instagram page.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome, awesome. So real fast before we close out, and I'm gonna ask you, just do a small piece. Just give us a little something of your
a little
spoken
something.
word, just something, whatever's speaking to you right now.
I've always followed my heart. I may not have always thought things through, which is probably why I have pages upon pages of heartbreak poems and poems of wishing I were with you.
Mm.
I've always followed my heart. Like a child learning how to walk, I may have stumbled upon opportunity and played with reality because at the time I was just not ready. See, life teaches you the difference between wanting and needing. And right now, I need a breakthrough. Because in the past, I may have wanted your approval and wanted to be wanted by you, but I'm moving into womanhood now, and I don't play follow the leader anymore. I don't follow the crowd because I'm finding my voice and I'm saying out loud, I love myself. I love my face. I love my body. My skin is not a disgrace. I am grace. And I move to a different beat. But you may recognize the title. It's called Doing Me. And even though it may seem like I'm leaving you behind, if you would just recognize that your essence is divine, you would not be far behind. See,
Wow.
my poetic lyrics were created to heal me, but subconsciously help you. My mind has ran races faster than any track master. My heart has created beats better than any beatboxer. And I break dance
Mm.
and cause skies to cry because I am that powerful. You see, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about you. But society can keep their stereotypes because I've changed channels. See, I've been fighting a battle for no reason because society's expectations of me are out of my season and I'm tired. Through this
Mm.
conflict, I forgot to smile at my accomplishments. I forgot to humble my spirit. And in the interim of things, I forgot to listen to what really mattered, me. So even though following my heart may cause me to write more heartbreak poems, at least I know I can end this poem knowing that I thought it through and I can finally put an end to this inner battle.
Yes.
Before we
Oh,
go, if I may say, I
yes.
failed to say this in the beginning. Thank you for having me. Thank you
Oh,
for inviting me
Mm.
on the show. Thank you
yes.
to everyone who's listening. And just
Yes.
thank you for my new followers and friends and all
Yes.
that good stuff. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, so well. Thank you for gracing our podcast, our platform. Like seriously, when I, you know what, I actually heard. I know I listened to you October. You know, we was at the iGlow event. But I've heard you. I crossed your path at another event. I was like, one day, Lord, I'm gonna meet her. I am gonna meet her. And and I've been following you. You know, I'm one of those quiet ones. I'm background. You know, I watch. I'm one of those like to observe. Um, and you're powerful, sis. That's
Thank
all I
you.
got to say.
I
You're really
appreciate you.
powerful, and much upon blessings to you and your boys, your family, sis.
Yes,
I appreciate you
yes.
both. Thank
Man,
And
you.
you
that's
know, and she
amazing.
didn't mention, but she's also on YouTube, and you can subscribe
Yes,
to
yes, that's
Divine
true.
Valentin. I want to put that out there. And one of my favorites tapings was Not Just Words. I'm gonna leave that out there for you. You got
Okay. Yes. Yes. These are not just
trust
words,
me.
just a reminder
Trust
for
me.
you. Yes.
Oh my God,
Trust
Yeah.
me. And
Thank you
guys.
guys.
also, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for just
Thank you
allowing
very
us to
much.
have you as our special guest. You're no longer a special guest, you're family now, part of the resilience. But also, I want to leave it with this from me, 1 Corinthians 12:27 through 31. And it reads, Now ye are the body of Christ, and members in particular. 28. And God hath set in the church first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, and after that miracles, then gifts of healings,
Mm,
helps, governments, diversities of
mm,
tongues. I'm leave it at that. The rest you can read for yourself. These are the gifts that have been placed before
mm,
us, within us,
mm.
before we knew who we were.
Amen.
And now that we're walking in our purpose, this is God's excellent way of Him being revealed. I'm going to leave
Yeah,
it at
for
Yes.
sure.
Yes, yes. So, our Resilience family, thank you for joining us in for this another good segment with Divine
Woo!
Valentine. Oh, I got
Honey,
another hand applause.
hit
Totally appreciate you giving your time
Instagram.
today.
Thank you.
Seriously, God is good, and
All the time.
I'm
All
watching
the
you,
time.
girl. I
All the
am
time.
watching you.
Well, this won't be
Like
our first or our last. We'll be seeing her plenty more. We're gonna be in the
I
same
appreciate you.
circuit.
definitely, most
Mm.
definitely. So,
Thank
guys,
you,
as
everyone. Thank
always,
you.
y'all be resilient, stay well, stay safe, and we love you.
Love you too. Good night,
Peace.
y'all. Bye.